Hi, this is Kit, and I wanted to share how I made a Nerf War for my backyard. So, obviously, the most important component besides having Nerf darts is having barricades. So, I put out a call on Nextdoor to my neighbors just asking for large cardboard from huge appliances, and I got like 3 neighbors responding to me, and I got some giant pieces of cardboard. So, I wanted to make sure that I had a symmetrical field of play. So I cut everything in half. So I had like basically 2 pieces of everything. So I could have one side have the exact same components as the other. Now, one of my neighbors got 2 gigantic TVs. So I wanted these to be the bases. They're very, very big boxes. So I decided to design them so that they would be flat, kind of unprotected on the sides, but they would be able to be peeked through with little portcullis windows. So that's what I am doing here, is just cutting those in, taping them with duct tape, as you'll see here, and one on either side so they could control the window on the base side. So they could look out, shoot, put it back, and then their enemy couldn't shoot them through their own window. Kind of genius. So I'm going to give you a close-up view here in a moment. So you can see in like more normal time what those bases look like. Now, I didn't do a whole lot to try and cover the boxes. If I had really wanted to, I could have gotten like brown paper or something to cover them before cutting all of these holes, just using adhesive spray, but I didn't go there. Now, the next big step was making them camouflaged. So we got green, tan, and black paint, and then we grabbed leaves from the yard from various plants growing and just kind of started spraying. And the whole point of camouflage is to have layering, so it looks kind of horrible at the beginning, with everything just kind of green squiggly lines everywhere. And then we just reused the leaf templates by moving them from one cardboard to the next. It's cardboard, so we're not caring about getting it dry. So you can see layer 1 has been done. Now my daughter's hard at work at layer 1. I'm gonna move on to layer 2. So we have some tan paint here. Sorry about the clock chimes, everyone. You can see I'm not really even caring if the spray is actually propelling the leaf a little bit, because we're looking for silhouettes. And we're looking for layering. So you can see some of that is occurring, and I just moved the leaves around to wherever I wanted it and sprayed just very lightly, keeping it very easy. So it's starting to take a little bit of shape. So you can see that we are working on all the different components, and we went a little bit of a different direction on 2 other pieces. See what happens when a 3-year-old isn't being paid attention to by his mother. There are no more nap times in my house, folks. So we're inhaling lots of fumes and possibly giving ourselves spray paint dust, but that didn't matter too much. We're just doing some more layering with like the black now. So having the 3 colors for layers was really helpful. Now, there were these styrofoam pieces in the TV boxes, and they're kind of like the perfect little barricades. So my daughter decided she would have fun, and she realized quickly that spray paint, it disintegrates styrofoam. So if you do a little, it paints the styrofoam. If you do a lot, it kind of starts melting the styrofoam. And so she was kind of like making it look rugged by over coating some of the the styrofoam, so it's a little bit pitted in appearance. There's what I'm doing with one of the bases. I literally wrote base, and I'm doing a little bit of leaf design on it. You know, I could have done more as far as like covering that before cutting into it and getting it done, but I didn't do that. That's maybe something for next time. Picking some more leaf templates. So as leaves got completely worn out, we just threw them away and found more leaves. You can see that the spray paint wound up being pretty heavy and almost splattering a little bit, which doesn't really matter. It kind of gives it, it blends into the look. So here's a more regular time view of the project. So you can see with the layers, it's starting to look pretty neat, or it did end up looking pretty neat. So that was the end of the painting. There's our little Gears of War style barricade there. And we designed everything so it could be squatted behind, not fully protective, kind of like a Gears or a Halo game where you have like those little barricades set up and the characters hunt behind them. That was like the idea for this battlefield. So there's all of the cardboard. And now once you have it painted and has time to set, you mow your lawn real nice. Like you can see here, I cut it like one blade shorter than I normally go. So it was really crisp looking. And now it's time to set up the barricades. So again, I mentioned at the beginning, I have 2 of everything. And that was because I wanted to have a symmetrical battlefield. And I'm also designing things like the camera is sort of from the view of my porch. It's one part of my porch, my deck. We were going to have lots of parents because this is a 3rd grader party. Most parents don't drop off to these things. And so, if I'm putting in all this work, I want to make sure that the parents can see. So I tilted everything slightly so it's very nicely it looks nice from the deck when you're standing there. So everything looks a little bit spread out in this lens. You can see we're just dragging stuff around so that the field of play is symmetrical and it's spread out enough that it makes sense as far as actually facilitating gameplay. My daughter's lugging one of the bases to one side and we're going to lug the other base to the other. And then once you get it all laid out to the acceptable levels, it is time to stake it. So I found these awesome stakes. They are actually erosion control stakes. I found them at Lowe's. It was $12 for a dozen. So that is quite cheap considering the price of wood right now. Trying to buy the raw wood to make these stakes would have been like probably just as pricey and 3 times as much work. So you get like a big hammer mallet. You wear gloves, which is what I ran back to get. And you just hammer those in without hopefully destroying the skull of one of your children or a dog or your hand. Try not to destroy a hand while you're doing that. I got a little tired, so I got most of them secured in the first go, and I went back later and got them completely down so that they're level or below level of the cardboard. I didn't want any little wooden pieces like sticking out that like someone could accidentally gouge an eye in or whatever, because this is wood. It would resist fleshy portions of your body. So yep, you just give it some good old elbow juice and you can secure all of these barricades that way. So it just takes a little bit of time and effort to hammer them into the ground. I should also point out it's good to make sure that you're not anywhere near a sprinkler head when you're doing this, because you don't want to accidentally cut into a sprinkler line. So fun, things that kids do when you're not paying attention and they know that you're posting stuff on YouTube. So once you get them all staked, you need to secure the cardboard to the stakes or else it'll just flop over. So I used like an old can opener to kind of gouge holes beside one on either side of these stakes, midway to near the top of each stake. And then I have little just scrap yarn that I threaded through those holes and then tied on. So that was enough. The battlefield held up really well on the day and it was getting rammed into. We didn't have any of the cardboard come loose except for one area where the thread broke or the yarn broke. So here it is all completely set up from one side of the yard at sunset. So everything looks tiny when there's no little children inside of them, or rather big children, because 3rd graders get big. I secured the bases with these huge tree stakes, and actually it wasn't me, it was my husband. I am not strong enough to do that, so I didn't get footage of this part because my husband did it while I was working. When we do this, we also set up a neutral zone for any kids that just get overwhelmed. They can escape and there's no shooting in the neutral zone. We always articulate our rules of war, which is mostly be nice. Like, don't shoot each other in the head and don't shoot, when someone's reloading. These are great little target areas. They're just pie tins that I put a little target on, and they make this fantastic ding when you actually hit them. This is little grenade bean bags I made for you to play like beanbag toss with. So this is kind of another zone of the yard where kids can sort of take a break from the gameplay, but it's still thematic. And also important is eye protection. So you can get pretty cheap child-sized safety glasses on Amazon, and we just buy a new pack every year we do this, and we always have enough. And then new darts are also exceptionally helpful because they fly truer than like the old used darts. You can get those reasonably inexpensive on Amazon. And then this is some images from gameplay. Now, kids' faces are smudged because they're not my children, and I didn't want to put them on the internet. But you can kind of see how some of these barricades were used on the day that we had this party, which was last Saturday. And we had 31 third graders in our backyard shooting each other, mostly boys, and it was really fun. You can see that gat gun and some of the other epic Nerf guns that some of the kids packed. The bigger they've gotten, the more hardcore their weapons have become, and so they actually they'll sting a little bit when they get you. So it was just a lot of fun, and it was a little bit of forethought, but not a whole lot of expense or work to put this together. And it really does look fantastic. And it supported great fun on the day of the birthday. And I got so many compliments on this. I'm actually planning to put the call out to my neighbors to see if anyone wants to take this cardboard rather than just throw it away. But it is recyclable. So cheers. Hopefully this helps someone else to put together an epic party for Nerfs.